Welcome gamers to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about Sony's State of Play and Microsoft's Inside Xbox that just aired on September 24th, and we're going to take a look at the games that they had to show off. We're also giving away 2 copies of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, guys, on this giveaway, so make sure you stay tuned to the end of the episode so you can see how you can win. But as always, guys, there's all that and more, so if you want to hang out, grab yourself a beer, and let's talk games. Welcome gamers to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We are on episode 22. My name is Craig Prowlis, and joining me is the man that always picks up the call to arms, especially when I'm working on the clock, is Andrew Montgomery.
I know. Hopefully you don't get paid for this and they really catch you on that audit.
This will be the first time that I'm actually getting paid to do this.
Oh, fuck off with that.
So I'm not too upset about it, but we're going to deliver this bit of news to you guys. So the State of Play from PlayStation and the Microsoft Inside Xbox both came out on September 24th on Monday. Now they showcased a variety of different games, so we're going to kind of hit the highlights of them. We're not going to talk about all of them.
Yeah, every little nook and cranny. I mean, if you want to, definitely go watch them. They're definitely worth watching yourself. I mean, the Xbox one's a little bit longer than an hour, but that PlayStation one's only 20 minutes, but it's kind of depending on if it's your taste or not. Either way, definitely worth watching for sure.
Yeah, and the links for both of them will be in the description. I already checked it this time, so you guys are good to go to check that out. So let's start off with that. And the big one that that kind of led off PlayStation outside of their first couple shitty games that they showed was the new Call of Duty trailer. So the new Call of Duty trailer was big, it was beefy, it looks darker, it definitely
really
looks
showed
reimagined
off
in a
lot.
good way.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, that if I were to walk into a room and you didn't have Captain Price in there, just the tone of the game and the way that it's going, I felt was so not like Call of Duty. I felt like it was better, like a kind of a different league, maybe a lot more refined, that I wouldn't have even thought it was a Call of Duty game.
And the big thing was it they have Naughty Dog writers come onto this to help kind of pen the script?
I believe they had some people who had left Naughty Dog come in and like do some writing or something like that. And I mean, if that's the case, then I think it definitely shows.
Yeah, because that trailer looks good. But the more interesting thing, guys, that's ruffling a lot of feathers, as they say, is the Sony has an exclusivity deal with Call of Duty that they're getting a special mode, right?
Right, so within the Spec Ops mode that they already have, which is where you do like maybe, they haven't broken it down, but if it's like the other Spec Ops modes, you'll do like tandem things, so maybe one person's in a plane, one person's on the ground trying to get a hostage out or something like that. So it's just like little things that you would do. There's a like survival mode, kind of almost like pretty much like a horde mode that is going to be exclusive to Sony, not for a week, not for a month, but for a whole year.
1 year, which is crazy. Depending on how you look at it, you can be completely fine with it or you cannot. The big outcome that a lot of people are having, that they think it's kind of bullshit, especially when earlier in the year they said that there aren't going to be anything like that. Everything across all the systems were going to be pretty much even. So it's funny that they make a statement like that, and then during the Sony State of Play they say that, oh yeah, and you're getting this for a whole year. And the shitty part about that is they come out annually, so
yeah,
it's a whole game you're not going to play till the next one.
Even so, by the time this comes out, is anyone even going to care anymore? And that's part of the problem, is that this is a game mode that it's, again, this Call of Duty is all cross-play, cross-platform, so that just lessens the player pool. By the time this game comes out, or this mode is available for anyone else, is anyone even going to be interested in it anymore? Because the next Call of Duty is going to be right there around the corner if it's not already released. So I mean, I will admit that I'm part of the problem. I'm still going to get this game regardless, but yeah, I would say it's a terrible business practice.
And so are 2 of you. So whoever wins it, if you guys are on the Xbox, you're getting locked out of a mode. If you got it on Sony, then you're gonna be good to go.
Yeah, shame on you for winning.
How dare you win a free giveaway? So that's it for Call of Duty, guys. Another game that kind of caught my eye. It was a smaller one. It was called Arise, A Simple Story. Every once in a while, some really good indies shine. This looks like a really good one. It's about what we say, it looked like Norwegian or a Viking.
Yeah, it's like Norse mythology, kind of, maybe possibly, because there's someone burning on like a pyre, and then there's this beefy Santa Claus, I guess is the best way to describe him,
with that white beard, cruising through it. It looks like he's on some sort of quest. They kind of show like a daughter figure that he's going for. It looks like the world kind of varies in scale, because at one point he's walking on mountains, and then the next thing he's flowers are as big as like houses and trees to him. So
yeah, and then he's pulling trees down to like clear a gully and stuff like that. So I mean, either way, it seems like it's pretty interesting. The art style is kind of like okay, not to die for, I don't think. But
yeah, they also showed up a couple of PSVR games. So if you guys are interested in that, we won't dive too much into that, but that was there. But the next game that we wanted to talk about, because there's a demo that you can play right now to October 6th, was Medieval.
Yeah.
And that game, there's a thing right now where if you do the demo, you can actually, when you beat it, you can collect Dan's helmet.
Sir Dan Fortescue.
Sir Daniel. And that will carry over to the actual game if you either pre-order or buy it. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, actually, we watched some gameplay of it. We haven't got a chance to actually play the demo because it was still downloading. But I think it looks pretty good. I mean, it's medieval. But yeah, it's definitely revamped. It's definitely got the vibes of like what they did with like Spyro and what they did with Crash Bandicoot. So it's cool to see some of these older games. And I don't know what else they could really pull out like that would stand the test of time. But
it's moving in the right direction, and again, the game we looked at it. I don't think it was over like a 10-hour game or anywhere. It's definitely not over 15 hours.
Yeah, so. I don't think so, and
it's coming in at a good price point too.
Yeah, and in time for Halloween too. Perfect timing for something like that.
Just in time, guys. So go download the demo. It is free to play, and you can get that Sir Dan's helmet. So the next thing, guys, was they have a new bundle for the PS4 Pro. It's 1 terabyte, and it's Andrew's favorite game now that's going to be skinned on this. So, Andrew, what was it?
It's a Death Stranding bundle, and it's a white PS4 with like black handprints all over it, kind of like that ink blotch thing they've been doing. And then the controller is like a see-through yellow color, orangish maybe. It's supposed to like how like the baby looks in like the thing that he carries around. By the way, it's ugly as hell.
Yeah, and I was looking at it. If it was separate, I think they both look aesthetically pleasing.
Together,
but together, I don't get the combination. It just rubbed me the wrong way. So maybe you guys feel different
like
about that.
A Rorschach and a piss test.
Yeah. So that comes out. I believe you're able to order that on November 8th. So if you're interested in that, keep your eyes out for it. There's another game that came out on this, but we're going to talk more about it because the Xbox had the same preview, which was After Party, and they kind of dived a little more into it.
Yeah, because they actually had a developer talking and doing like a little interview. So, I mean, we just thought it'd be fair to mention that Sony did actually show this game off as well, too. So,
yeah, so
which I originally thought was only a PlayStation game, so I was kind of bummed on it until we saw it later, so that was pretty cool.
So, just for a little preview, it comes out on October 29th, and we'll get into that more a little bit later. Now, they did show what October's PlayStation Plus games are going to be. So you're going to be able to get The Last of Us Remastered. So if you guys have never played it, missed that boat, you can get it on PlayStation, play it then. And they're going to be giving you MLB The Show, which is 19, which is their big sells a shitload of
the
copies,
only baseball
game. But the reason everyone came to this table to eat was to watch The Last of Us Part 2 trailer. So it came out. I'm seeing online that everybody loved it. It didn't blow me away. What do you think about it?
I liked the trailer. I thought it was good, but what I thought was even better was if you actually go onto YouTube and you can type in inside the demo, they actually sit down with like Neil Druckmann and a few other people, and they break down the demo and some of the new systems. Like there's there's dogs now, and it shows like how they're following your scent through areas, or how they talk about how since Ellie is smaller than Joel, she could fit in certain areas, and they call it the squeeze through mechanic. Or they work on verticality, her jumping from like building to building, or she's jumping on that truck and stuff like that. And so that was actually like really, really cool.
Yeah, new monsters like the Shambler that would chase you and blow up. New boss fights that are kind of separate from the guys chasing you that involve kind of mechanics around the room that you can fight with. So
right, I would definitely
check out the demo.
Yeah, watch that inside the demo because you're going to get a lot more information than you are with the other thing. The big takeaway from the trailer, spoiler alert, was
Hugh
the
Jackman
fact
show,
that
right?
was that
Old Man Logan.
Last Chance to Back Out Now was that old Joel
Yeah, Big
shows
Daddy
up
Joel shows up and gives that line
to help her out on this mission, and then I mean it kind of doesn't really go more into him from there, but it kind of signals maybe that they've not talking in a while, or I mean you kind of get that vibe that they're distant, not as close as maybe they were. So either way, check it out for sure, but definitely watch that inside the demo. You're gonna get a lot more info from that, and I personally enjoyed that more than the
same way. I like the demo a lot more than that. We were gonna make it a riff, but it kind of just fit in at the end of this to just go watch the demo. So Last of Us Part 2 is the big thing, guys. It's coming out, so go check that out.
What was the date for that? Because they announced the date too.
Oh no, I didn't write down the date.
Oh,
what, the release date for Last of Us 2?
Oh, yeah, I actually have it. It's February 21st, 2020.
For the win!
Because I think that was the big thing for the trailer, was they finally gave that release date.
How did I miss that? Hey, for the win, Drew. So,
hey, finally, these notes are paying off.
I told you, man. Notebook and research. So let's move into Inside Xbox Live is what they did. And this show dwarfed the other one in terms of length. I mean, not in terms of
quality.
Quality. So this one was like an hour and 20, and it was 3 or 4 different hosts kind of bouncing around explaining what these games are gonna be. What I did like is they had some sit downs with some guys. Like the first one they did was this new game Atlas. Atlas is now this. It kind of resembles a Sea of Thieves, but from what they were saying is it's supposed to be a completely different game. So if you're into the open world, first person, build a crew, build a ship, go conquer an island, you can get that in this game, because they had a pretty long interview with the lead game designer, Eric Wananen, and he went in length about it, kind of separating the differences between that and Sea of Thieves.
I think maybe I don't know if it's the best way, because I obviously haven't played it, but I mean, just like looking at it wise, if I did compare it, I would say like Fortnite and PUBG, they almost kind of they're within the same realm of gameplay, lots of different mechanics, and one's more of the, I don't want to say cartoony vibe, because that's not what it, how do you describe something as like that maybe, I didn't play Sea of Thieves, it's not for me, I don't know what kind of maturity's in there, same way I wouldn't call Conker's cartoony in a way, because that's a very mature game, but something's a lot more realistic and maybe based more on the grounds of realism.
Graphically they stand apart from each other.
Yeah.
Play-wise, they might play in the same sandbox. So that was a big one, guys. That, I believe, so they're going to come out on the, it was the Xbox game preview on October 8th. So that's where they're going to start, and they're going to do crossplay with PC. And every update they have is going to be simultaneously on both platforms. So it's what he kind of was stressing is it's the same game on Xbox and PC. You're not getting a different version of it.
It's kind of cool to see a lot of stuff like that, too.
Yeah, we're moving slowly in that direction, and I like that a lot. So the other game, guys, that they had was a game that looked pretty cool. It's called Children of Morta. It's an action RPG game where kind of this top-down dungeon crawling game. Kind of looked like a Diablo, I guess you could say. It's you pretty much take over the family of the Bergens. It's a family of 6. Each one kind of had their own different ability. When you travel through these dungeons, they obviously random generate enemies. There's magic, there's potions, but what they kind of focus on was there's like story building elements, right? They focus on like love and trust and family and all that stuff. So I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting too. And I like seeing like the different dynamics of the character. I think like one of the daughters uses like a bow. They said one of the sons uses these daggers, so he's a lot faster. But then I think if you're the dad, or I don't know if his dad or older brother, he uses like a big like hammer or axe or something. Yeah.
Brother Joey, and he swings that bitch around.
Yeah, and he swings like this huge ass thing around, and he's a lot more like lumbering and slow, but you can see like the effect he creates. So I thought it was a pretty cool dynamic.
Yeah, and it looked really cool because they were saying it's all like hand-drawn stuff, so I really like when games can do that, because you know that the developers of that just takes someone like Cuphead. All that stuff was like hand-drawn. That just shows that they have a lot of faith in this game, and it looked really good. So, and it's been out for a while, but now it's coming to Xbox. So that comes out on October 15th, guys, so check that out.
It's been out, and I've been wanting to play it for a while, but I can't. But now that it's finally here and I can, and now you don't even want to be there.
Yeah, now I want nothing to do with you.
But now the forbidden fruit must be tasted.
The big thing, guys, that I was looking forward to is they talked more about the Project xCloud, which is their cloud-based streaming service that is launching next month. Now, they didn't dive into too many more details. That every kind of way they end these things, they keep saying we have more to come. But what they did say is that you can actually go to xbox.com/game streaming, and you can sign up and be a potential beta tester for it.
Yeah, so what they said is they're going to start small, and they're just going to pluck some people, and then they're just going to keep pulling more and more and more. So me and Craig definitely already registered.
Yeah.
I would go out there and why not throw your name in there? Because, I mean, that'd be pretty cool just to... I was thinking about it today, like at work. I was just on my lunch. I was like, damn, I really wish I could play Final Fantasy VIII, at least get something going, get something started, because that's perfect for just on the go, I feel, and I would have been able to stream it from my Xbox.
So there are requirements, though, to do this. So
Yes.
even when you sign up on the email or to register for it, it asks you a certain questions. Now, you can lie, but there's no point to. So what you need is a Bluetooth controller. That is mandatory. You have to have that to function. And then you have to run on an Android device, whether that be your phone or your tablet. That's what they're starting with. Now, what they're actually, the games that they're going to start with is they're going to start with Halo 5 Guardians. They're going to do Sea of Thieves. They're going to do Gears 5. And they're going to do Killer Instinct. Now, that's a pretty nice array of games to start playing.
I think that it's a very different and it's a very wise choice of games to start with because they offer good single-player experiences, but where you're really going to want to test the waters to see if this is going to be a viable option for the future is with that online multiplayer. Because in a fighting game, you have to be one-to-one on par with whoever it is that you're versing because lag is already a killer just on consoles. And let alone playing an online multiplayer with something like Halo 5, you're going to want to be, on the ball like that. So if it runs as good as what they've been saying it has, then this is the perfect way to test it and know if this is going to be it for you or if they just didn't quite nail it. So I'm going to say that if this does not do well, if these games do not do well, then that's going to be a big,
and easily seen. Right off the bat, day one, people are going to go, but this is why we beta test. This is why it gets in the hands of the consumer. So you can only access this, guys, right now if you are in the U.S., UK, and Korea. This functions over a Wi-Fi signal or a cellular signal, which I believe their biggest partner right now is T-Mobile. And they kind of just reinforce the fact that not only will it stream from their servers, but your console will act as a server that you can stream from. And the beauty is if you start playing Gears 5 on your phone and get an achievement, it carries right over to your Xbox, which I thought was the icing on the cake. I mean, I think they've already talked on this, but this one they just kind of reinforce it. It is one and the same. It's just now you can have Xbox on the go.
Yeah, no, there's definitely tons of times where, especially too, when I come over here, I don't always want to lug my Xbox over. I don't want to put all my info into yours, sit there and type out my whole email and whatever. I would rather just put my phone on the controller and just boom,
whatever. Now I can take it with my tablet for more than just work. So it's a big, nice, juicy pad. But Andrew, I have the Game Pass PC stuff. You had the Game Pass for the console, so I'm just gonna go over that. So the Game Pass for the PC. So outside of games like Gears 5 and Blair Witch that are already on there, games that were coming to it were Dirt Rally 2.0, which they had the audacity to call it the Dark Souls of racing games.
Oh, I heard that. I was like, you can't just compare everything to Dark Souls.
They had Bad North, which is this kind of pillaging game where you're defending these cities from these invading tribes. They had City Skylines, which is kind of this urban city builder game. And they had Saints Row 4 Reelected, where Saints Row zaniness, but you're the president, and apparently you're getting reelected.
Yeah, I don't really care too much for Saints Row.
And what did console have coming at us?
On console, again, they mentioned Gears 5. Me and Craig actually beat that, and that was a day-and-date game. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night just recently came out not too long ago. Jump Force also just came out not too long ago.
I just downloaded them, the other day.
Hot games, and then Outer Worlds is going to be on there day and date whenever that comes out as well too. I believe that's the 25th. And then After Party, which we'll also get to shortly, is also going to be on there day and date when it comes out on the 29th. So either way, that Game Pass is killing it with just... It's already made up its value for me. I've got no problems paying for it. Hand over
fist, the Game Pass is where it's at. And again, I don't know why every system is not doing something like this. I got a good feeling, which probably we all do, the next gen, Sony's going to do something.
I think they're going to have to follow, and that's what makes it a little harder though, is because something like Gears of War they said did not sell well, but when they were talking about it during the Inside Xbox, that it's clocked in at over 3 million unique players. So whatever that means as far as the Game Pass, PC. Sales, PC. Either way, that's still a shit ton of people. I mean, that's...
Yeah, so we need to start looking at the way we view numbers. It's past sales at this point. It's players, because it's on the... they can't count us now because we only played on the Game Pass. So there's got to be a new way to view it, which I'm sure the bean counters are going to be able to figure that out.
I mean, it must be profitable, and there must be a correct way to go about it if they have so many things, like I said, Outer World, because they bought Obsidian. I guarantee you that's why this game is coming day and date. Gears of War 5, they already own that studio. That's why it's coming day and date.
Well, let's get into Outer World. So they actually sat down with one of the developers. It was a female, if I'm not mistaken, and I forget her name, but... So this was originally was designed by Obsidian, which are original developers of Fallout.
They did Fallout, and they did Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls. So they went to this. They kind of showed off a different trailer and they elaborated on this game has multiple approaches on how you want to play it. So if you want to run in guns blazing, if you want to be more tactical control, you can do that. They showed off what they called the leadership role, which has benefits for your companions, and you can kind of build a team. They showed off more of the scientific weapons, like the mandibular, if I'm saying that right, rearranger, which is...
that changes like your face and stuff like that.
It distorts you. So
they have some wacky and zany stuff in it. It's Fallout essentially, but with, I would say it's more the science fiction route, but it kind of still has that aesthetic, and it kind of still almost feels like that old-timey vibe, but a lot more futuristic than the world didn't progress past like 1952. So.
Yeah, and the trailer they had showing for it was awesome. How it's kind of like this pitch to like get you to come here. It's like, oh, we have beautiful signs and but every time it shows it, like the building's like falling down and all that shit. So it was very funny. It's definitely aware of itself. So Outer Worlds, like Andrew said, October 25th.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll get that day and date. That's for free. And Code Vein was another one that came out. I wanted to touch on that because that should be, if I'm not mistaken, is that out already? Right, didn't it? I believe that comes out today because they're actually recording a day late today.
Yeah, so blame me for that one.
But that's coming out today, and I kind of have a huge backlog. It's something I definitely should be into because it's the Dark Souls or whatever, but this one actually is more kind of like Dark Souls, especially because it's being published by Bandai Namco, who publishes, I believe, Dark Souls in the US. But either way, I think it looks great. We played the demo for it.
Nice anime style. Yeah, you got me to play that demo. And this trailer that they had showed off them. I think the boss that they've already introduced, the Bloodbearer, but they showed off a new boss called the Cannoneer. So
yeah, and I think this trailer was to entice people like me because it looked like you're fighting these two bosses at once, which was very like Ornstein and Smo. And so as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh man, that looks so good. Like it just gave me the chills, gave me the vibes, because then I'm just remembering the original fight of that game and just like what it meant for me. And we're gonna get him into that soon too. So
the other thing, guys, let's dive a little more into this before we do the gloss over. Was After Party. So After Party
loved it.
Was this game that they're showing where, oh god, I'm trying to remember their names. It was like Lola and
I couldn't remember.
I
think it's Milo
and Lola, something like that.
Maybe.
But anyway, essentially they're like best friends. I don't know if it's from birth or college or whatever. They end up dying. Their goal, their plan to get out of hell is to outdrink the devil, which nobody's ever been able to do.
Yeah, so what they've done is after they go to hell, they kind of hear about a loophole from someone else, and so they're going through like kind of these different circles of hell, essentially trying to get to the devil. You're doing different games.
Yeah, he's got like 6 or 7 demons you got to go outdrink before you can get to him. So there's your progression.
Yeah, and so what's really cool about it too is hell is more. It looks like a nightclub.
Yeah,
it's like a nightlife.
It looks like somewhere. Yeah. I'd like to go party.
No, and that's what was really cool about it too. And they were saying that they kind of incorporated like all religions into it.
Yeah.
And so that way you're seeing all these different aspects. It's not like, oh, it's just all based on Christianity.
Hell's hell, and everyone's there.
Yeah, it's just
it's a very funny premise.
Yeah, and they said that too. You're playing all kinds of different games. Like they showed off. I forgot what one it is. They're playing something on a counter. I don't even know if it's even a real drinking game, but it looked kind of cool. But another one, you're just playing classic like beer pong. But then he was saying too that when you go to different areas, you can try these different drinks that'll maybe your guy will get drunk and black out, or there's another one where you drink it and your person's more flirty and you can flirt with the demon you're playing. It's like, I don't know if that's a good idea for you, but then again, he might throw the beer pong match for you because he's kind of enamored with you. So I thought that was pretty cool, all these like little different things that can affect how the gameplay is going to go.
Yeah,
so
they had an interview with one of the developers, and he was saying how it was kind of hard for them to figure out how to make the game keep the game fun, but developing mechanics, because they were saying they had like the pee meter, where your character would have to go pee for drinking too much.
The blackout meter.
You'd be throwing up. But they said they kind of took, and I like how he said it, they took like a Harry Potter approach with potions, to where the drinks are going to have, you drink it, it's going to have an effect that you kind of develop.
Whether it's good or bad, you're playing with it.
Yeah, so the game looks really good. I
love that art style for it.
Yeah, it's on both of them, but the elaborate explanation of it was on the
Xbox, because they actually had the developer come do a sit down and kind of do an explanation on it. So that game actually is going to come out October 29th, and that's going to be a day-and-date Game Pass game, which I will be on board for that.
Yeah, that looks fun. I'm just curious if it was single player or if it was co-op. Did we figure that out?
I don't think they said anything about it.
It looks like you're just probably popping through both of them.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about it. It looks like it's probably just, I would imagine that's just a single-player game. So either way, crazy cool premise. Just drink your way through hell. So.
And yeah, Satan looks like he's just laid back kind of cool guy. But that is the end of that, guys. So we're just going to touch on a little bit else what they had to offer without getting too much into it. The Ghost Recon Breakpoint Beta is out from the 26th
open
to
beta,
the 29th. So. Yeah, open beta. So if you are watching this today on the 27th, it came out yesterday, you still got 2 more days to go play it. I know they said they have big Gears 5 announcement. They were adding new characters, new maps for the Horde. So there's more on that. They're doing a Minecon live stream. So if you're into Minecraft, check that out. That's out on September 28th at noon. They did the Hitman final expansion, which focused around this place called Haven, and I believe he had 3 targets he had to go do. So more Hitman if that's what you like. Felix the Reaper was a very interesting kind of premise where your death, essentially dancing your way to solving puzzles to naturally kill people, but in a
to ensure that they naturally die
very
the way they're supposed
artistic
to.
kind of way. Had a very kind of creepy little mini doc though.
Yeah,
like I don't know if they were doing it on purpose, which I think they were, but they're all just kind of weirdly talking about this game. So check that out. That kind of stood out. The 4th DLC for Ace Combat 7 that comes out on September 25th was launched. And DayZ, if anybody is still playing that game. They had a new one called Livonia.
Yeah, it's their second map is what it is.
Yeah,
but
DLC, which I guess takes place in a summer type map. But Andrew, they ended it on a note with their next big event. So what was that?
Yeah, the final note that they ended on was that they're going to be holding a big event. They said that it's a lot of things to show off, whatever that means. I mean, take that with a grain of salt for what it is. More things to preview, lots of things to introduce. And that's going to be at the XO event in London, which is going to be from November 14th to the 19th. The tickets go on sale for that October 1st. So if you are a European listener,
Connor Malone, how far away is London from you? I'm curious on that.
It's just a stroll across the river.
Dude, he's probably a hop and a skip away from that. I'm curious. Let me know.
But either way, I mean, if you're close by there, check that out. I wish I could go there. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be sweet. Maybe Connor Malone can win us tickets to go out there and see that.
Yeah, fly us out there.
So, guys, that was State of Play. That was Inside Xbox. Again, those links are in the description. And we didn't talk about everything. So, if you do want to go check it all out, you got a good hour and 40 minutes worth of material to go see. But, guys, let's move into a little riffing.
Yeah, do you want to start?
Yeah, let me go with mine first. So, if any of you guys are big Twitch watchers or streamers, they have just officially updated their logo after 8 years.
Oh, you know what? You told me about this the other day, and I still haven't seen the logo either.
You know what? You can watch it when you watch the episode. I'll pop them up right now. It's got and I didn't realize when I saw the new one, I was like, oh yeah, that's the Twitch logo. And I was like, oh wait, it's not. The other one, it does look dated, so I'm glad they did it. It's not huge news, but Twitch is growing fast as fuck, and video games are taking over as one of the biggest
Twitch is huge.
Sports right now. So, if you look at it as a sport, which it is. So, interesting stuff. It'd be like if the NBA changed their logo after X amount of years. 8 isn't the same as, 80 or whatever it is.
I don't even know what their logo. If you said NFL, I would have been like, oh, okay. But I have no clue what the NBA one is.
Isn't it just the guy with the basketball, juking somebody?
I thought it was only for video games. Is that a real thing?
I hope so. I thought, and the baseball guy should be the one hitting it out of the park.
I'm pretty sure that's only for games. I don't think that's their actual logo.
All right, what do you got?
So first one that I'll talk about is that Sunset Overdrive, which Insomniac was purchased by Sony recently. A lot of people have been clamoring for that game for some reason. I don't know. That game sucked.
But because they also do Spider-Man.
Yeah, they do. Well, Spider-Man was
they saw the writing on the wall. I like Sunset Overdrive. Then he likes Sunset Overdrive. I see that it's not for everybody. But you can. But what about just the free play style? If you weren't doing the mission, you didn't like the.
Nope.
This fucking guy. Even though it's on the Game Pass day one?
I'll tell you a story about that game later.
That's off-camera stuff.
Either way, what they've said is, because a lot of people have been asking about, is there gonna be Sunset Overdrive on PlayStation now? If they do,
what's the legality behind that?
They own the IP, so they can do a sequel. But the first game they came out to say
behind it
is an Xbox One exclusive that is not going to be on PlayStation
because their lawyers' heads would be spinning. That ain't happening.
I mean, take that for what you will, because people always say it will never show up on something else, and then it does. But for now, it's not going to be. So you'll just have to wait for a sequel if that does come out.
Hey, I'll get it on the PS4. So the next thing I had, guys, was the Google Assistant is actually being... you can connect it now with your Xbox. Now, the app actually cannot run on your Xbox because once upon a time when Kinect was a thing, you can actually issue commands to it and say, Xbox on, Xbox, download this or turn off. So that's a thing of the past. So what they're doing with Google now is they're kind of integrating it. So what you need is essentially either an iPhone or something that runs iOS, because that's what it's going to be off of, or Android. Or if you have like a Google Home, you can use that as well. You just need to you need to join a Google group is what they said. And that'll get you access to a Google Assistant support group, which will let them function. Because like I said, the app won't be on the Xbox itself. You need an outside source to command it. But I like that. I keep a Google Home right here. So it'd be nice to kind of give it commands again. Once upon a time.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty cool, pretty interesting.
Well, it's interesting that Google's doing this with Xbox when they're entering the video game space at this point, and they're still it's the thing. It's the synergy. It's the people helping people. So
speaking of people helping people, which would have been that's actually a pretty good segue, even though I know you didn't mean to.
I didn't. What do you got?
Would be that PlayStation and Xbox have both announced that they are going to be trying to build a better carbon-free, carbon-neutral is what they're calling it, system. And so, I mean, that helps the environment, that helps everybody else, that helps us out. So, I mean, it's good to see people committing to a good cause.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point not to? I mean, geez Louise.
If you're going to compete in one way, compete in who can, save the world, save the planet, help the environment, who can do that better?
Yeah, I mean...
that's the race that I want to see.
Yeah, I've got systems running right now that probably shouldn't be on. So, it would be nice...
Well, Lord knows that Dreamcast is sucking up all the H2O.
While I was doing it, I was helping you out, me out, the environment out. And that's cool. Did they give any type of time frame, or is it something they're just kind of testing out?
That's just something they said that they're working on, and I think they kind of gave a number. So either way, I mean, just moving forward, either way, it's a good thought.
Yeah, about time, right?
Good news when there's bad news out there. So
my last riff, guys, is if you are one of the millions of fans playing GTA 5 online, it is it is their anniversary. So they're giving away some stuff. So if you log in by October 2nd, it will get you $1 million in your Maze bank account. And I believe it shows up no later than October 9th. So I'm sure if you're playing it, you haven't been missing any login dates. But if you haven't played in a while and you're looking to jump back in with a friend or start for the first time, start with $1 million, because you can also get a free Declassy logo white t-shirt. So get a couple duds for your guys, get $1 million in the bank, and you're cruising on GTA 5 Online.
Well, that's what you got. Then I have 2 left.
2?
So, one, just a quick one. Link's Awakening,
Mercy.
My favorite Zelda of all time, is the fastest fastest selling game on the Switch this year so far, and it's actually the #1 game in the UK.
Fastest selling game this year, or since Switch's launch?
No, fastest selling game this year on the Switch.
Did it show what its second place competition was?
I think it was Mario Maker 2 actually.
Okay, good. I'm just curious of what's rivaling.
It was a Mario game. It was something like that. I want to say it was Mario Maker 2.
Excellent.
But not only that, but it's actually the best selling of the remade Zeldas that they've done. So they've redone Ocarina of Time, and they redid.
They're kind of like all the GBA
Majora's
ones,
Mask.
everything. Okay.
And I think they're just counting whatever they put out on the Switch and maybe even the Wii U, because they did that. The Wind Waker remaster, and I think that was included in this list too. So out of these Zeldas that they have remade, this has been the best-selling one. So it's really good to see this game that was it was on the Game Boy Advance, so it's had its
Was it
niche.
GBA or GBA Color?
Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Okay.
That's why there's Link's Awakening and Link's Awakening DX. DX is the color version, which is then also followed by this was kind of an out there Zelda game, which was also followed by made by Capcom, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, which was another out there Zelda game, completely different vibe, but this game brought a lot of new things to the table. So either way, good to see this game get like that due and proper that it deserves.
Yeah, it's very odd that everyone on every Zelda list ever, it's always Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time as everyone's favorite, and if they didn't sell as the best remakes, I find it very compelling that the one that's not even officially a Nintendo made Zelda is the best-selling one, which also just means there's that many people out there playing Switch. I mean, if you have to think about that, right? Because a lot of people would mainly think probably a Mario or something like that would be the game you get for. It's cool that Link's Awakening is the best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, a game that was only on the Game Boy Advance is now doing better than a modern Mario or something like that. So, either way, I mean, it just shows that game had a lot of heart and they did it right. My final thing, which is going to be more of a question to you too, as well, is Final Fantasy VII released their new box art. I think it looks good. Fantastic. It's an homage to the original. It's pretty much almost verbatim the same thing with a lot more modern detail, of course, and the newer graphics.
Looks good.
Jason Schreier wrote an article.
Hey, who that?
He's a writer for Kotaku. He wrote an article saying that the cover looks good, but is it misleading? Because on the cover, it just says Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, we know that this is an episodic game, and I personally agree, unless they say it somewhere else on the box or something like that. I think it should have an episode 1, a part 1, or something like that, because there's lots of people who go on media blackout. I know this game's coming out. I don't want to know anything more. I want to be completely surprised. I don't want to see anything other than the one trailer that I've seen. I'm going to go buy this game now, and I'm going to play 1/4 of it, 1/3, 1/2. Who knows because they haven't said anything as far as how the episodes go. Either way, it's not going to be a complete experience. You're going to be busting your ass doing all this stuff, and it's going to end at where after Midgar fucking gets partly destroyed. So I think that as long as it's somewhere on the box, even if it's on the back and you have to read a little bit or something like that, I think there should be something on there that does say that this is an episodic game. Because there's a big difference between something like this and Resident Evil 2 Remake, which is a full, complete game of its counterpart from the 90s.
Yeah, see, I hearing that people are complaining about the cover box art not saying a remake, I find very...
well, it says remake, but that's not episodic.
That it's not episodic, I just find very, I don't want to say childish, but very just out of line. It's like, you're going to complain that the box art doesn't tell you that it's episodic when anybody in their right mind that should be playing Final Fantasy VII has known about this forever. And I guess I grasp the concept that if you're 5 years old and your mom gave you $60 and you walked into a GameStop to go buy a game and you're still basing your knowledge on a cover and whether or not you're getting a $60 value out of it, then sure, you're that kid that's going to fall prey to that. But long past, Andrew, are the days where I think we weren't much on covers because we look, do I have any? We look back on games like when you used to go buy a Nintendo game and it had awesome fucking box art, and that's what we used to base our buying decision, our buying knowledge off of, and the game sucked dick. Versus games that were really good that had garbage box art like a Mega Man. So I don't like to hear that there's 35 plus years old adults worrying about the cover not telling you that it's episodic.
I just think that it's misleading.
No, definitely misleading, I guess, but anyone that's going to go buy Final Fantasy VII has had their ear to the ground for this for the last 10 fucking years.
Not everybody.
Who would be going to buy this game that's not really been waiting on this game?
I can understand that some people just like to be totally surprised.
Has their lunch money, saving up their nickels.
Some people just want to be totally surprised. I mean, either way, because then it's going to look weird too that when the sequel does come out, what's it? Final Fantasy VII Remake part. So when the sequel
does it look weird to you that now that you already know that's episodic?
Yeah,
what's going to look weird? The fact that you're putting two covers next to each other.
The fact that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then the second one says Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2.
What if they just change the name Remake into something else?
Only if it says ha on one side and sure enough PPY right on the other.
I don't know, because after looking at the two covers side by side, which is I think the image that I found for this, and just
it's a good cover, but it needs to say something somewhere.
7 little spot right there. I think it looks great. I don't want anything. I like the homage that they're paying to it, right? The kind of the identical looking thing, just modern graphics and all that stuff. I like that. I wouldn't want to see a big fat fucking red part 1 of 6 or episodic and make sure you buy all the rest of our games, bro. I don't know. It's an argument that clearly is driving.
Either way, I would love to hear your opinion on that.
Are you Team Andrew or are you Team Craig?
Someone in this room is clearly a simpleton.
And we both know it ain't me. So. But guys, that is it for the riffs. We are going to skip video game questions this week because we are running short on time. So
yeah, Craig, someone's got to get back to work.
Yeah, someone's got to clock back in, baby. So we are going to just restate that we are giving away 2 copies of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Now, if you guys watched the last contest, it's going to work just like that. Leave an entry down here that says #COD. And do me a favor, leave the system of your choice on there so I know if you win what I'm getting you, or Andrew and I are going to get you and what to go buy. So, but the thing is...
This one's all on Craig.
But the thing is, when we pull a winner, there's going to be 2 of you guys. So make sure you're entering. Yeah,
and again, just to reiterate for anyone out there, any new people, anyone at all, that when you enter, it is 1 entry per video. So that means, let's say there's,
this is entry 3, I believe.
Yeah, this is entry 3 because you can go back to our Switch giveaway and actually put it on there. But let's say there's 7, whatever. Your name could be in there 3 out of 7 times, 4 out of 7 times, 7 out of 7 times if God willing you're that lucky, and you can win 2 copies and have 1 sealed right there to look at.
Let us keep 1.
Yeah. So either way, make sure you enter with each one because it does nothing but bolster your chances. So why not? It takes 2 seconds.
Yeah. So guys, make sure you get your friends to enter. Make sure you get your mom to enter. Make sure you get your significant other to enter. The more #CODs we see in there, the more chances you or your friend or whoever.
Yeah, it's not definitive to whatever. I mean, if your girlfriend has an account, you let her subscribe and you enter in there, and we'll send it to her and you can play it. Whatever you have to do to think you can win, by all means.
Yeah, because that game comes out on October 25th, so we will be announcing. Let's see, we should be stopping on the 17th and announcing the winner on the 24th, which the video should probably roll over the 25th. So yeah, you got till the week right before that to enter in, guys. So make sure you do. Now, if you want to submit questions in the future, which we'll be taking next week, send those to lastcallproductions@gmail.com. Send them to our Instagram at LastCallProductionz. Send them to our Twitter at LastCallProdz. Send them at our Facebook at LastCallProductionz or at LastCall928. And you can always listen to our audio version only podcast of this on Castbox with future podcasts pending.
And if you specifically request it, I will give you Craig's personal address. Feel free to send him a pigeon.
Ooh, or a raven, right? It's newer times. So, guys, that is the end of this episode. Man, we actually did pretty good for this one. So,
well, someone's got to clock back in.
So, my name is Craig Perales. That is Andrew Montemayor. And until next time, guys, cheers.
Yo, I just want to give a shout out to Last Call Productions, Mandrew, Craig, you know what I mean? Thank you guys for, putting this Switch Lite giveaway. And I didn't think I'd win it, but I'm glad I did. And I appreciate what you guys are doing. And I love the content, guys. Keep it up. So, shout out to Last Call Productions, LastCallGaming, Switch Lite winner right here, baby. Yeah.